Greetings everyone, this is Devesh Kirubhakaran.J who's here with another lecture session on the poem titled An Introduction written by Kamala. So let's get started. So, introducing the poem. This poem was written by the Indian poet Kamala, as said before, where in this poem, she describes the place of women in the society, the patriarchal male dominated society. The Sunshine Cat, My Grandmother's House are some of her other famous poems. So, first of all, the poem starts with the representation of female condition in the society, the male dominated one. So, women are shown as powerless since they only know of the names of famous leaders like days and months, memorization of the names, because they have never played an active role in all the important aspects of the country. No significant contribution is made from them due to the gender bias prevalent in the society, Indian society. Then, language. Kamala Das then moves on to her language, the languages which she uses. So she says that she dreams in one language and she writes in two languages. And she chooses English language since it conveys her feelings, emotions, and does the work of communication. And she argues the criticism which is directed from the society that she shouldn't use English language and she should stick to Tamil. But she firmly stands upon the decision to write in English since she feels comfortable with it, her own identity and her own language. She embraces English as her own language. Then, early marriage. She goes on to recollect the experiences of her life as a woman in the society, which is traditional. So she was married away in early teens, since after her limbs grew, her physical body appearances changed. She was given away for marriage, as women were just seen as objects to seek pleasure and satisfaction for progeny, but they were never considered to have a life of their own. And then Kamala Das was not harassed by the youth of 16, but rather she felt that her sad woman body felt beaten with the weight of breast and uterus which crushed her, since she was not aware or interested in this sort of a relationship. She was not even given a chance to think about it. She was just forced. That's why she emphasizes that she was just dealt as an object without considering her feelings and emotions. And then the transformation. So, because of this, Kamala Das wanted to neglect her feminine identity. So, she began to wear shirt, trousers, having her hair trimmed short, neglecting the norms established by the society, the convention to wear saris. And then criticism from society. So the society criticized her for defying the societal norms pre-established by the society. She mocked her as a nympho, meaning a psycho, the one who is mentally disabled. And she is asked to fit into the category established in the society, the traditional one, the quiet woman who's supposed to quarrel with the housemaid, do the household chores, and not engage in any sort of intellectual pursuits. Then, love of men. So, Kamala Das speaks about the love of men on women. So, she categorizes the love of men as being selfish, who decide to satisfy their own sensual pleasures, failing to understand that women too are human beings, they too have feelings, they have all sorts of same sort of desires, joys, and sorrows. And then she moves on to acts of women who, out of searching for their own identity, wander lonely in the streets, drinks, they sin, they suffer pains, they suffer sorrows like any human being does, similar to men. So she also says that women do suffer a lot in general because of this gender-based discrimination. Then, Plea for equality. So through this poem, she reflects upon the experiences as well as she compares the experiences of men and women, that they too share the same experience, as they are in the same flesh. Their soul resides in the same flesh filled body like men. So she asks for the same treatment like men, to consider them as human beings equally without any bias or discrimination. Then conclusion. So Kamala Das uses herself as a synecdoche representing women in general in a patriarchal society, typically an Indian society, as she is an Indian writer. So this poem is a confessional poem, since it talks about personal experiences from her life, which is relatable to the readers, which gives us an idea of how women were suppressed in a traditional society and still are suppressed. Then let's see the significant lines from the poem. I don't know politics, but I know the names. So this line reflects how women were subjugated from taking a career in any mainstream area, and they were just constrained to their house. Then I'm Indian, very brown, born in Malabar, I speak 3 languages. So it's just self-assertion where she introduces herself right into Dream in One, as I've already explained, right in 2 languages, Tamil English, Dream in One, as every human being does. The weight of my breasts and my womb crushed me. So all these feminine parts were the ones she is suffering, being objectified, who's forced to just take it up all these deeds. I wore a shirt and my brother's trousers cut my hair short. So this line represents the defiance to the norms and conventions established in the society, societal non-conformity. Dress in saris, be girl, be wife, they said. So this is the traditional look which the society expects from Kamala Das. In him, the hungry haste of rivers. In me, the ocean's tireless waiting. Here it represents the sexual imagery where men seek and derive sensual pleasures consistently and constantly, whereas women wait and wait and wait that someone will understand them soon in the future, that they too are human beings, which never happens. I'm sinner, I'm saint. Kamala Das says that she sins, she is also a holy person, like every other human being. I too call myself I. So here Kamala Das says I, emphasizes upon the word I, since men call themselves I, but women were not supposed or expected to use the same pronoun. Then, I am the beloved and the betrayed. So Kamala Das says that how she was known as a beloved by being the traditional maiden in the traditional society. So it's a disguise. She was beloved in the traditional sense and the betrayed in the modern sense, since she was not given an own life on her own in the modern society, the modern life which she wishes. Here modern represents the progressive way in which women are considered as equal human beings, and they are encouraged to take up their own desired paths in life. So let's quickly summarize this poem. So we introduce the poem. So this poem explicates the female condition in this patriarchal society, starting with the languages. The criticism starts from languages, pushed off to early marriage, then the transformation out of these experiences, and the criticism which she again gets for transforming. And she describes the love of men because of how women are exploited and how women react to it and how they ask for equality, and the conclusion. So kindly do derive these vicarious experiences of life, which helps us build empathy in us. That's what literature does. Kindly do be passionate. So thank you. I think I've added something to your understanding of the poem. Kindly do like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next lecture session. Thank you.